100,000 naira for just 24 hours. All you have to do is pretend to be my fiancé.
That seems reasonable. Deal.
Christmas Eve in Lagos carried a special kind of magic. Lights decorated the streets of Victoria Island. Christmas carols played from shops, and the city buzzed with the anticipation of tomorrow's celebrations. But Chisholm Okafor felt none of that magic as she sat across from Emeka at an upscale restaurant in Ikoyi, watching her carefully constructed experiment crumble. For 6 months, she'd been living a lie. Not the kind of lie that hurt people, or so she told herself, but the kind born from exhaustion and heartbreak. Chisholm was 28 years old and worth 45 billion naira. CEO of Okafor Industries, a tech and real estate empire her father had built and left to her when he died 2 years ago. She had everything money could buy: a mansion in Banana Island, a fleet of luxury cars, designer everything, influence, power. What she didn't have was a single person who loved her for herself. 3 relationships in 2 years. 3 men who'd researched her net worth before asking her out. 3 proposals that came with prenup negotiations and business merger suggestions. 3 heartbreaks that taught her the same lesson. When you're a billionaire, no one sees you. They see your money. So 6 months ago, Chisholm Okafor disappeared. She became Chisholm Nwoko, her mother's maiden name, rented a modest apartment in Surulere, bought a used Toyota, packed away her designer clothes, and wore simple dresses from local markets. Told people she was an accountant at a small firm. The mansion sat empty. The Range Rover gathered dust in a private garage. Her company ran smoothly under her trusted COO while she attended meetings via video from her small apartment, careful to keep the background generic. She started dating normal men who met her at coffee shops, men who worked regular jobs, men who didn't Google her before asking for her number. Men like Emeka. He was a marketing manager, decent-looking, educated. They'd been dating 3 weeks. Tonight was supposed to be special. She'd told him she'd saved up for this expensive restaurant, wanted to celebrate Christmas Eve together. The dinner had gone well, until his phone rang. Emeka had stepped away to take the call, but Chisholm's hearing was sharp. She caught fragments through the noise of the busy restaurant. "Yeah, I'm with that girl I told you about. No, not rich. Just regular. But she's hot, so I'm giving her a chance. I'll keep her around until I meet someone with actual money." The words hit like ice water. When Emeka returned, smiling like nothing had happened, Chisholm made herself ask, "Who is that?" "Just a friend. Nothing important." He reached for her hand across the table. "You look beautiful tonight." She pulled her hand back. "What did you tell your friend about me?" His smile faltered. "What?" "I heard you. Not rich, just regular," giving her a chance. "Is that how you see me?" Emeka's face hardened. "You were eavesdropping?" "You were 10 feet away talking loudly. Answer the question." He leaned back, assessing her coolly. "Okay, fine. Let's be honest here. I'm educated. I have a good job. I'm decent looking. You're pretty, but you're just an accountant at some small firm. You should be grateful someone like me is interested." Chisholm felt her chest tighten. Even pretending to be poor, she was enough. Not rich enough. Not worth genuine interest. "You're not rich," Emeka continued, warming to his theme. "You're not connected. You're not special. So yes, I'm giving you a chance. Most men at my level wouldn't." Chisholm stood up, legs shaking. "I need to leave." Emeka grabbed her wrist. "Where are you going?" "I paid for this reservation." She'd actually paid for it, but that hardly mattered now. "Let go of me." "Sit down. You're being dramatic." She pulled away sharply, knocking over a wine glass. Red liquid spread across the white tablecloth. Emeka's voice rose. "This is exactly why poor girls can't handle nice places. You're embarrassing yourself." Other diners were staring now. Chisholm felt her face burn with humiliation. "You'll never do better than me," Emeka announced to the increasingly interested audience. "No successful man wants a broke woman with nothing to offer." Someone near the bar had their phone out, recording. "Good luck finding someone desperate enough to settle for you." Emeka called as Chisholm walked quickly toward the exit. She made it outside before the tears came. The street was busy with Christmas Eve celebrations. Families laughing, couples holding hands, everyone belonging somewhere while she stood alone on the sidewalk, wondering why pretending to be poor hadn't solved anything. Chisholm walked to a bench near the restaurant entrance and sat down, pressing her palms against her eyes. She thought removing money from the equation would help, but apparently she was still not enough. Too poor for men who wanted wealth. Too rich for, no, wait, they didn't know she was rich. They just didn't want her. Excuse me. Chisholm looked up. A man stood a few feet away, tall, handsome, maybe early 30s. He had kind eyes and looked genuinely concerned. I'm fine, she said automatically, wiping her tears. I was in the restaurant. I saw what happened. That guy is an idiot. Despite everything, Chisholm almost smiled. Thank you, but really I'm okay. The man sat down on the other end of the bench, maintaining respectful distance. You're not okay. Nobody's okay after being humiliated like that. I'm Mike, by the way. Chisholm. Nice to meet you, Chisholm. And I know this is going to sound insane, but I have a proposition that might make you feel better. She looked at him suspiciously. I'm not interested in. Not that kind of proposition. Mike held up his hands. A business proposition. I need a fiancée. Just for 24 hours. Tomorrow, Christmas Day, I'll pay you 100,000 naira. Chisholm stared. You want to pay me to pretend to be your fiancée? I know it sounds crazy. Let me explain. Mike ran his hands through his hair. My father owns Adeyemi Construction and Properties. He's been married twice. My mother died when I was 10. He remarried. My stepbrother, Kunnel, is from my stepmother's previous relationship. Okay. My father just announced that whichever son is engaged or married will inherit 60% controlling shares of the company. The other gets 40%. Kunnel's already married. I'm single. If I show up alone tomorrow, I lose everything. So hire an actual escort service, Chisholm said. I tried. Everything's booked for Christmas. And I can't ask friends because my stepmother knows them all. She'd expose the lie immediately. Mike looked at her directly. But you're a stranger. You were just publicly humiliated by a guy who said you're not good enough. Come to my family Christmas as my fiancé, help me win this inheritance, and prove that jerk wrong. You are good enough, and I'll pay you 100,000 naira for 24 hours. Chisholm almost laughed. 100,000 naira. She made that in interest every hour. Her weekly grocery bill was more than that. But this man didn't know that. He saw someone he thought needed money. Someone ordinary. Someone real. This was exactly what she'd been searching for. What would I have to do? She asked. Pretend to be my fiancé. Act like you love me. Withstand some judgment from my stepfamily. They'll definitely try to make you uncomfortable. But just for 24 hours. Christmas Day only. Then we go our separate ways. And you'll pay me 100,000 naira? 50,000 tonight as a down payment. 50,000 after Christmas dinner tomorrow. Chisholm studied him. He seemed genuine. Desperate, but not dangerous. And more importantly, he had no idea who she was. Make it 100,000 total and I'll do it. Relief flooded Mike's face. Really? You will? Yes, but I have conditions. 1, you tell me everything about your family, so I don't walk in blind. 2, if things get too uncomfortable, I can leave. 3, after 24 hours, we're done. No contact afterward unless I choose otherwise. Deal. All of it. Mike pulled out his phone. What's your number? I'll send you the down payment tonight and pick you up tomorrow morning. They exchanged numbers. Within minutes, Chisholm's phone pinged with a bank transfer notification. 50,000 naira. She almost laughed again. This was the smallest amount of money she received in years. So, Mike said, standing, I'll pick you up at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We'll get our story straight on the drive. The dinner is at 2 p.m. Should be done by 8 p.m. 12 hours, max. What should I wear? Something nice but not too fancy. My stepmother will judge everything about you, but don't let her intimidate you. After Mike left, Chisholm sat on the bench for a long moment, processing what she just agreed to. A fake fiancé arrangement. For 100,000 naira, that meant nothing to her. With a man who had no idea she could buy his father's company. It was perfect. Finally, she met a man who saw her without seeing her money. Yes, it was fake. Yes, it was transactional. But at least the transaction was honest. And maybe, just maybe, if she played this right, something real could develop. Chisholm pulled out her phone and called her assistant. Collins? It's me. I need you to research someone. Mike Adeyemi, son of Chief Adeyemi. I want to know everything by tonight. If she was going to do this, she'd do it right. Tomorrow, she'd walk into a wealthy family's home as a poor accountant and see if this Mike was different from every other man she'd met. And if he wasn't, well, at least she'd earn the easiest 100,000 naira of her life. She smiled for the first time all evening. Christmas was about to get very interesting. Christmas morning dawned clear and bright over Lagos. Chisholm woke in her modest Surreal apartment, the one she maintained for her poor girl persona, and immediately checked her phone. Collins had sent a detailed file on Mike Adeyemi last night. Age, 32. Profession, architect. Education, University of Lagos. Master's degree from University of Johannesburg. Currently runs his own small firm, Adeyemi Designs, which has won a few awards but struggles financially. Father is Chief Adeyemi, wealthy contractor and property developer. Mother deceased. Stepmother favors biological son Cunnel. Mike appears to be the family disappointment despite his talent. The file included photos. Mike at architecture award ceremonies looking proud, but alone. Mike at family events standing slightly apart from his stepbrother and stepmother. Mike's architectural designs, stunning, creative, ambitious. Chisholm found herself studying those designs longer than necessary. There was genuine artistry there. Vision. Someone who saw beauty in spaces and structures. Her phone buzzed. Mike's text. Picking you up at 10. Address? She sent him the Surreal address. Then she went to her closet and selected her outfit carefully. Nothing from her designer collection. That was all in the Banana Island mansion. Instead, she chose a simple but elegant navy blue dress she'd bought at a local market. It was pretty, well-made, appropriate for a Christmas family dinner, but clearly not expensive. She added modest jewelry. A thin gold necklace her mother had given her years ago. Small earrings. No designer bags, just a simple leather purse. When she looked in the mirror, she saw exactly what she intended. A pretty, ordinary young woman. Someone who might reasonably be an accountant at a small firm. Someone Mike wouldn't think twice about offering 100,000 naira to. At exactly 10 a.m., Mike's car pulled up, a 5-year-old Honda. Not poor, but definitely not wealthy. Chisholm noted that he matched his persona, struggling architect driving a practical car. She slid into the passenger seat. Good morning. Morning. Thank you for doing this. Mike pulled into traffic. I can't tell you how much this means to me. Tell me about your family. I need to know what I'm walking into. As they drove toward Ikoyi, Mike laid out the situation. His father, Chief Adeyemi, was 65 and thinking about succession. He'd built Adeyemi Construction from nothing, turned it into a major player in Lagos real estate development. Mike's mother had died in a car accident when Mike was 10. 2 years later, his father remarried a woman named Grace who already had a son, Cunnel, from a previous relationship. Chief Adeyemi adopted Cunnel, gave him the Adeyemi name, treated both boys equally, at least in theory. In practice, Grace, everyone called her Mama Cunnel, had always favored her biological son. Cunnel got the better rooms, the newer cars, the preferred projects in the family business. Mike got love from his father, but subtle undermining from his stepmother. Cunnel studied business, joined the family company directly, and married Blessing 3 years ago. Mike studied architecture, worked in the family company briefly, then left to start his own firm. My stepmother told everyone I was too proud to work for the family, Mike explained. But the truth is, Cunnel kept taking credit for my work. I designed something. Cunnel would present it as his idea, and my stepmother would praise him. That's horrible. It is. But my father never saw it. Or maybe he didn't want to see it. Keeping the peace with his wife was easier than confronting her favoritism. They pulled up to a mansion in Ikoyi that made Chisholm work to keep her expression neutral. Nice house. Very nice. But she owned bigger. Okay, Mike said, turning off the engine. Here's our cover story. We met through a mutual friend 8 months ago. Started dating. Got engaged last week. We're planning a small wedding next year. He pulled a ring box from his pocket. Inside was a simple but beautiful ring. Vintage, probably a generation old. This was my mother's engagement ring. Mike said quietly, "My father gave it to me years ago. Said I should give it to someone special when the time came." Chisholm felt an unexpected lump in her throat. He was giving her his late mother's ring for a fake engagement. "Are you sure?" she asked. "This is really meaningful. It's just for 24 hours. And my mother would have liked you." He smiled. "She always said the right woman is worth more than all the money in the world." Chisholm slipped on the ring. It fit perfectly. "Ready?" Mike asked, "One thing first. What's my story?" "Background job, all of that." "Right. You're Chisholm Nwoko, accountant at a small firm. That's what you told me last night, right?" She nodded, maintaining her cover. "We can say you studied at University of Lagos. Where are you from?" "Enugu originally. Family still there." "Perfect. Keep it simple. My stepmother will grill you, but you don't owe her your life story." They walked to the front door. Before Mike could knock, it swung open. A woman stood there, mid-50s, elegant in an expensive wrapper and blouse, her eyes immediately assessing Chisholm from head to toe. "Mama Cunnell," Mike said. "Merry Christmas. This is my fiancée, Chisholm." The woman's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Your fiancée? How unexpected. Merry Christmas, my dear. Come in." The house was beautifully decorated for Christmas. A massive tree in the living room, elegant decorations, the smell of cooking filling the air. A man emerged from another room, mid-60s, commanding presence, sharp eyes. Chief Adeyemi. "Mike, my son." He embraced Mike warmly, then turned to Chisholm. "And who is this beautiful young lady?" "Father, this is Chisholm Nwoko, my fiancée." Chief Adeyemi's eyebrows rose. "Fiancée? When did this happen?" "We got engaged last week, sir," Chisholm said, extending her hand. Chief took it, studying her closely. "Last week. Very sudden." "When you know, you know," Mike said, putting his arm around Chisholm's waist. "Indeed." Chief smiled. "Well, congratulations. Come, meet the rest of the family." In the living room, a man about Mike's age lounged on the sofa, designer clothes, expensive watch, arrogant posture. His wife sat beside him, dripping in gold jewelry. "Cunnell, Blessing, meet Mike's fiancée," Chief said. Cunnell stood slowly, assessing Chisholm the way his mother had. "Fiancée, how interesting. Mike, you didn't mention you were seeing anyone." "It was private," Mike said. "How romantic." Blessing's voice was sweet, but her eyes were calculating. "What do you do, Chisholm?" "I'm an accountant." "Oh, where?" "A small firm. Nothing fancy." Blessing and Mama Cunnell exchanged a look. Chisholm recognized it immediately, the look wealthy people give when they've decided someone is beneath them. "Well," Chief said, "I'm delighted to meet you. Shall we exchange gifts? Then we'll have Christmas dinner." The family gathered around the tree. Blessing distributed gifts, designer bags, expensive watches, luxury items wrapped beautifully. When it was Chisholm's turn, she pulled out the packages she'd carefully prepared last night. She'd raided her real closet at the Banana Island mansion, selecting gifts that would send a message without revealing too much. For Chief Adeyemi, a rare vintage Benin bronze sculpture she knew he'd appreciate, she'd researched his art collection through Collins. For Mama Cunnell, limited edition French perfume, Chanel No. 5 Low, currently €500 in Paris. For Cunnell, a collector's edition Macallan whiskey set. For Blessing, a Hermes scarf from the current season, not yet released in Nigerian stores. For Mike, A vintage architect's drafting set from the 1950s, complete with original instruments. The room fell silent as people opened their gifts. Mama Cunnell stared at the perfume bottle. This is 500 euros. How did you... Blessing examined the Hermes scarf, her face pale. This isn't even released yet. How did you get this? Cunnell held up the whiskey. This set costs at least 200,000 naira. Everyone turned to look at Chisholm. Mike was staring at her too. Chisholm, these gifts, that's at least 600,000 naira total. She shrugged carefully. I save, and first impressions matter, especially with Mike's family. But you're an accountant at a small firm. Blessing pressed. How do you afford? I'm good with money, Chisholm said smoothly. It's literally my job. Chief Adeyemi laughed. Well, clearly you are. These are thoughtful, expensive gifts. Mike, your fiancée has excellent taste. But suspicion lingered in Cunnell's and Blessing's eyes. Mike pulled Chisholm aside when others were distracted. Those gifts cost more than I'm paying you, he whispered. Way more. Why? I told you. First impressions. But you'll be operating at a loss. She touched his arm. Some things matter more than money. Like helping someone who saw me crying on a bench and wanted to help. He looked confused but touched. Before he could press further, Chief Adeyemi called everyone to attention. Before dinner, I want to make my announcement. He stood in the center of the room. I've decided how to divide controlling shares of Adeyemi Construction. The room went silent. Both my sons are here with their partners. Cunnell with his wife Blessing, Mike with his fiancée Chisholm. Both have proven they're ready for family responsibility. Mama Cunnell smiled confidently. Therefore, Chief continued, I'll be watching both couples today. By tonight, I'll announce which son receives 60% controlling shares based on character, partnership, and family values, not just relationship status. Cunnell's smile faltered. Mike's hand found Chisholm's and squeezed. The game had officially begun, and Chisholm, wearing a dead woman's engagement ring and hiding 45 billion naira, was about to show this family what real character looked like. Have you ever hidden your true identity to find genuine connection? Would you accept a fake relationship offer to help someone? What would you do with $100,000, even though she's actually worth 45 billion? Drop your thoughts in comments. If you're hooked on this billionaire heiress pretending to be poor story and want to see what happens when her identity is exposed, smash that like button and subscribe to African Tales by Zion for stories about love, wealth, and what really matters. The afternoon unfolded with the careful choreography of wealthy families putting on a show. Christmas dinner was elaborate. Jollof rice, fried rice, several meat dishes, salads, desserts. Everything perfect, expensive, designed to impress. Chisholm played her part beautifully. She complimented the food, laughed at Chief Adeyemi's stories, asked thoughtful questions about the family business. She was charming without being fake, intelligent without being intimidating. Mike watched her with growing confusion. This woman, who he met cry on a bench less than 24 hours ago, moved through his wealthy family's home like she belonged there, not nervous, not intimidated, just comfortable. And those gifts. He couldn't stop thinking about those gifts. After dinner, as the family relaxed in the living room, Cunnell pulled out his phone. He'd been texting periodically throughout the meal, and now his face lit up with something that looked like triumph. Father, Cunnell said, standing, before you make your decision about the inheritance, there's something you should see. Mama Cunnell perked up immediately. Blessing smiled. Mike tensed. Chisholm remained perfectly still beside him on the sofa. What is it, Cunnell? Chief Adeyemi asked. It's about Mike's so-called fiancée. Cunnell pulled up something on his phone. Someone sent me a video that went viral last night. Let me show you. He connected his phone to the large television screen. The video began playing. Restaurant. Christmas Eve. A man's voice. You'll never do better than me. No successful man wants a broke woman with nothing to offer. Good luck finding someone desperate enough to settle for you. The camera panned to show a woman hurrying out of the restaurant, clearly upset. It was Chisholm. The video had been viewed over 50,000 times. Comments range from sympathetic to cruel. Poor girl getting reality check. Broke girls need to know their place. At least he was honest. Mama Cunnell gasped theatrically. That's from last night. Cunnell paused the video, looking directly at Mike. Tell me, brother, how long have you and Chisholm been together? 8 months, you said. Mike's stomach dropped. Or... Cunnell's voice dripped with fake concern. Did you perhaps meet her last night at that restaurant? Did you maybe offer to pay her to pretend to be your fiancée so you could win father's inheritance? The room erupted. Is this true? Mama Cunnell demanded. Chief Adeyemi held up a hand for silence. Mike, explain. Mike looked at Chisholm. She met his eyes calmly, then nodded slightly. Tell the truth. Yes, Mike said. It's true. I met Chisholm last night. I saw her being humiliated by that man. And I thought, I needed a fiancée for today, and she needed... He trailed off, realizing how bad it sounded. She needed money, Cunnell finished triumphantly. You paid this desperate woman to lie to our family. How much? Blessing asked, voice dripping with disdain. How much did you pay her to prostitute herself? It's not like that, Mike started. 100,000 naira, Chisholm said calmly. Everyone turned to stare at her. He offered me 100,000 naira to pretend to be his fiancée for 24 hours. I accepted. Mama Cunnell looked victorious. You see, Chief, Mike brought a paid liar to Christmas. A woman so desperate for money she'd sell herself for 100,000 naira. That's enough, Chief said quietly, but the damage was done. Cunnell pressed on. Father, clearly Mike is desperate and deceptive. He hired a fake fiancée. His engagement is a fraud. By your own rules, he shouldn't inherit anything. Blessing added, voice sickeningly sweet. Imagine being so poor you let a stranger pay you to lie to his family. How embarrassing for her. Something in Chisholm's expression shifted. Mike saw it, a hardening around her eyes. She stood slowly. You want to talk about desperation? Chisholm's voice was quiet, but cut through the room. You want to talk about being poor? We don't need to humiliate you further. Mama Cunnell said with fake sympathy. We understand you needed the money. My name is not Chisholm Nwoko, Chisholm interrupted. Well, it is. Nwoko is my mother's maiden name. But my full name is Chisholm Okafor. Silence. Okafor, Chief Adeyemi said slowly. As in Okafor Industries. My father founded it 30 years ago. Tech and real estate. He died 2 years ago and left it to me. I'm currently CEO. You could hear a pin drop. You're joking, Blessing finally said. Chisholm pulled out her phone. Made a call. Collins? It's me. I need you to transfer 10 million naira to an account. I'm sending you the details now. She looked at Chief Adeyemi. What's your bank account number? You don't need to. Chief started. What's your account number? He gave it. Chisholm typed quickly, then hung up. 2 minutes later, Chief's phone pinged. He looked at the screen, his face going pale. 10 million naira. From Okafor Industries, CEO account. I'm worth 45 billion naira, Chisholm said calmly. So when you call me desperate and poor, you should know that I could buy this house, your company, and everything you're all wearing and not even notice the expense. Blessing's mouth hung open. Cunnell had frozen mid-gesture. But the gifts? Mama Cunnell stammered. You said you saved. I lied. Those gifts cost me about as much as you spent on breakfast. The perfume? I have 12 bottles at home. The Hermes scarf? I own 40 in different colors. Mike was staring at her like he'd never seen her before. So why? Chief Adeyemi asked. Why pretend to be poor? Why accept my son's offer? Because for 2 years, every man I dated wanted my money, not me. Chisholm's voice cracked slightly. 3 proposals. 3 men who researched my net worth before they asked me out. So 6 months ago, I decided to pretend to be ordinary, to see if anyone could love me for myself. She looked at Mike. That man in the video? I was testing him. He called me just an accountant. Said I wasn't good enough for him. Then Mike found me crying and offered me money to help him. Money that means nothing to you Cunnell said bitterly. Money that meant everything about how he saw me. Chisholm's eyes were fierce now. He didn't know I was rich. He couldn't want me for my money because he thought I had none. For the first time in 2 years, a man saw me. She turned to Mike. I said yes because I wanted to see if something real could develop. If you could fall for who I am, not what I have. But you lied to me, Mike said quietly. Yes, I lied. Just like you're lying to your family right now. Just like Cunnell lies about caring for this company when he just wants control. Just like Blessing lies about being kind when she treats people she thinks are poor like garbage. Chisholm looked around the room. At least my lie was searching for love. What's your excuse? The room sat in stunned silence. Finally, Chief Adeyemi spoke. Well, this is certainly unexpected. I should go. Chisholm slipped the engagement ring off her finger and handed it to Mike. I'm sorry I lied. But thank you for seeing me, even if it was only for 24 hours. She walked toward the door. Wait, Mike called. She stopped but didn't turn around. You're right. I didn't know you were rich. I saw someone hurting and He paused. I actually saw you. Not your money. Not your status. Just you. And now that you know the truth, now I'm wondering why the hell a billionaire would agree to be my fake fiancée for 100,000 naira. Chisholm turned to face him. I told you why. No, you told me why you've been pretending to be poor. But why did you say yes to me specifically? She hesitated. Because when you saw me crying, you didn't walk past. You stopped. And when you offered me money, it wasn't to buy me or use me. It was because you genuinely thought I needed help. And the gifts, I wanted your family to respect you. I wanted them to see that you'd found someone who understood quality and thoughtfulness. I didn't want them to look down on you because of who you brought. Mike stepped closer. Were you pretending? Today? With me? At first, yes. But somewhere between your mother's ring and watching you stand up for yourself and seeing how your family treats you. She smiled sadly. No, I wasn't pretending anymore. I was falling for you, the real you, even though I'm broke. You're not broke. You're building something. And your designs are brilliant. She gestured around the room. These people have money, but you have vision and heart. That's worth more than all of this. Chief Adeyemi cleared his throat. Well, this has been educational. Mike, Chisholm, sit down. All of you sit. Reluctantly, everyone settled back into the living room. Let me see if I understand, Chief said. Chisholm is actually a billionaire pretending to be poor to find genuine love. Mike hired her thinking she needed money. They were both deceiving each other for different reasons. That's about right, Mike said. And Cunnell exposed this by finding a video of Chisholm being publicly humiliated, then using it to embarrass her further. Cunnell shifted uncomfortably. I was protecting the family. You were being cruel, Chief said firmly. You saw that video and thought, perfect weapon rather than poor woman. That tells me something about your character. Mama Cunnell started protest. Chief silenced her with a look. Mike, your solution to your problem was desperate and foolish. But when exposed, you didn't throw Chisholm under the bus. You claimed responsibility. He turned to Chisholm. And you? You came into my home under false pretenses. I did, Chisholm admitted. I apologize. But, Chief continued, you treated my family with respect. You gave thoughtful gifts. And when Blessing and my wife made dismissive comments about poor people, you didn't reveal yourself just to embarrass them. You only revealed your identity when they pushed you too far. He stood. I've made my decision about the inheritance. The room held its breath. Mike received 60% controlling shares. What? Mama Cunnell shrieked. His engagement is fake. He lied. So did Cunnell, Chief said calmly. Wade took credit for Mike's designs. When he undermined his brother repeatedly, when he used a woman's humiliation as a weapon rather than showing compassion. He looked at Cunnell. You're married, yes, but your marriage is as transactional as Mike's fake engagement. Blessing wanted the Adeyemi name and money. You wanted someone who made you look good. Blessing's face flushed red. Mike made a desperate choice, Chief continued. But when I watched him with Chisholm today, I saw something real developing. Saw him protective of her, considerate, actually interested in what she had to say. But she's a liar, Mama Cunnell insisted. She's a woman protecting her heart, Chief corrected. And she showed more character in one day than Cunnell has shown in years. Cunnell stood. This is ridiculous. You're giving him controlling shares because of a woman he met yesterday. I'm giving him controlling shares because when tested, he showed character. You showed cruelty. Chief's voice was final. The decision stands. Mike gets 60%. You get 40. Be grateful for that. Cunnell stormed out, blessing following. Mama Cunnell glared at Mike and Chisholm before leaving the room. In the sudden silence, Chief turned to Chisholm. You're still here. Ah, yes. Why? Your obligation ended. Mike can't even pay you now. I assume you're not taking 100,000 naira. No. Chisholm looked at Mike. I stayed because we didn't finish our conversation. Mike stepped closer. What else is there to say? You're a billionaire. I'm a struggling architect. You lied to me. I tried to pay you for fake affection. But somewhere in all that mess, Chisholm said softly, something real happened. Didn't it? Mike ran his hands through his hair. I don't know. Did it? Or did we just trick ourselves into feeling something because we were playing pretend? There's one way to find out. How? We date. For real. No more lies. No more transactions. Just two people getting to know each other honestly. You're a billionaire CEO. I'm barely keeping my firm afloat. You're also brilliant, kind, and you saw me when I was invisible. Chisholm touched his arm. I don't care about the money difference. Do you? Mike was quiet for a long moment. Then, it bothers me that you lied. I know. I'm sorry. But it bothers me more that every person you've dated for 2 years wanted your money instead of you. He took her hand. That's horrible. You deserve better. Do I deserve you? I don't know. Do I deserve you? Chief Adeyemi coughed. Perhaps you two should discuss this somewhere more private. I'll have dinner packed up for you both. Mike looked at Chisholm. Want to get out of here? Desperately. They drove to a quiet spot overlooking Lagos, a place Mike said he went when he needed to think. The city lights sparkled below them, Christmas decorations adding extra magic to the view. This is where I come when my designs aren't working, Mike said, or when my family gets too much, or when I need to remember why I'm doing any of this. It's beautiful. Yeah. He was quiet for a moment. So, 45 billion naira. Chisholm laughed. Is that going to be a problem? I don't know. Maybe. I can't even take you to a decent restaurant without it being less nice than everywhere you normally eat. I don't care about fancy restaurants. You gave Christmas gifts worth more than my car. So, you gave me your mother's ring. That was worth more than all of it. Mike turned to look at her. Why me, Chisholm? Really, you could have anyone. Why a fake engagement with a desperate architect? Because you weren't trying to impress me or use me or win me. You were trying to survive family politics. And when you saw me crying, your first instinct was kindness, not opportunity. My first instinct was actually to mind my own business. But you looked so sad. And you stopped. That matters. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching the city lights. I want to try this, Mike finally said. For real. But I have conditions. Okay. 1. I pay for dates. I don't care if it's just street food and movies. I'm not being your kept man. Chisholm smiled. Deal. 2. You keep your money separate. I don't want anything from your company. If we work, it's because of us, not because you're funding my life. That's fair. 3. No more lies. About anything, even if it's uncomfortable. I can do that. Chisholm paused. Can I add a condition? Sure. You let me invest in your firm, not as your girlfriend or sugar mama or whatever, but as a business investor who thinks your work is brilliant and marketable. Chisholm, hear me out. I watched you light up talking about your designs today. I saw the photos on your website. You have vision, but you're underfunded and undersupported. Let me invest. Business terms. Proper contracts. I get equity, you get capital. Completely separate from our relationship. And if we break up, then I'm still an investor in a brilliant architect's firm and you're still dating, or not dating, one of your shareholders. Stranger things have happened. Mike considered this. Okay, but through lawyers. Proper business arrangement. Of course. He took her hand. So we're really doing this? Dating for real? If you can handle dating a billionaire who lied to you, if you can handle dating a broke guy who tried to pay you to be his fake fiancé. They both laughed. This is insane, Mike said. Completely insane, Chisholm agreed. He leaned in and kissed her. Soft. Real. No pretending. When they broke apart, Chisholm whispered, So do I still get my 100,000, Naira? Mike laughed. You're literally a billionaire. But you promise. Fine. I'll transfer it tomorrow. Or, Chisholm said, you could take me on 100,000 Naira worth of dates instead. That's a lot of dates. Good thing we have time then. Have you ever dated someone with a huge wealth gap? Would you invest in your partner's business? Could you handle someone lying about their identity to test you? Drop your thoughts in comments. If you want to see their real wedding 1 year later, the business partnership, and whether their family accepts them, smash that like and subscribe to African Tales by Zion. Final chapter shows the full circle moment. Christmas Day. 1 year exactly since the day they met. Chisholm stood in a private room at a luxury hotel in Lagos, wearing a wedding dress that cost more than most people's yearly salary. But she didn't care about the price. She cared that it was beautiful, that she felt like herself in it, and that in 30 minutes, she'd be walking down the aisle toward Mike. Real Mike, her real fiancé, soon to be her real husband. The past year had been complicated. Beautiful, but complicated. They dated slowly at first. Real dates. Mike insisted on planning them and paying for them, even though Chisholm could have flown them anywhere in the world. They went to local restaurants, saw movies at regular cinemas, took walks on the beach. Chisholm learned that Mike was funny, deeply thoughtful, and carried scars from years of being compared unfavorably to his stepbrother. Mike learned that Chisholm was brilliant in business but awkward at expressing emotions, desperately wanted a normal life but couldn't quite figure out how to achieve it, and made terrible coffee despite owning a multi-billion Naira company. 3 months in, Chisholm officially invested in Mike's firm. Business terms. Proper lawyers. She bought 30% equity for a fair market valuation. Mike was furious at first. You overpaid by 1 million Naira. Until her business instincts proved right. With proper funding, Mike's firm flourished. His design started winning major awards. Commissions poured in. Within 6 months, Adeyemi Designs had tripled its revenue and was being featured in international architecture magazines. I told you, Chisholm had said smugly. You manipulated the market value. Mike accused without heat. I invested in talent. There's a difference. 6 months after they started dating, Mike proposed. For real this time. He took her back to that overlook above Lagos, got down on one knee, pulled out his mother's ring, the same one Chisholm had worn for their fake engagement. I'm giving you this again, Mike said, but this time it's real. This time it's forever. This time there's no transaction, no time limit, no pretending. Just me asking you honestly, will you marry me? Chisholm had cried. Yes. Yes, absolutely yes. Even though I'm still broke compared to you, you're not broke. Your firm is worth 8 million Naira now. You're building an empire. An empire you funded. An empire you designed. I just saw what everyone else was too blind to see. Now, 1 year after their chaotic fake engagement Christmas, they were getting married for real. A knock on the door. Chisholm, are you ready? Chief Adeyemi entered. He'd offered to walk her down the aisle since her father was deceased. Over the past year, he'd become a father figure to her, mentoring her in business while she taught him about modern tech integration. You look beautiful, Chief said. My son is very lucky. I'm the lucky one. You're both lucky, and stubborn, and perfect for each other. He offered his arm. Ready to make this official? The ceremony was outdoors in a beautiful garden venue that Mike had designed specifically for this day. 200 guests, family, friends, business associates, employees from both companies. Conspicuously absent, Cunnell, Blessing, and Mama Cunnell. They hadn't been invited. As Chief walked her down the aisle, Chisholm saw Mike waiting at the altar. He wore a sharp tuxedo, looked impossibly handsome, and when he saw her, his face lit up with pure joy. No pretending, no transaction, just love. The ceremony was beautiful. Traditional and modern elements mixed. When they got to vows, Mike went first. 1 year ago, I offered you 100,000 naira to pretend to love me for 24 hours. Today, I'm offering you my heart to really love you for a lifetime. Guests laughed softly. You taught me that wealth isn't about money, but about character. That poverty isn't about what you lack, but about what you refuse to compromise. And that sometimes the best things in life come from the worst moments. I don't care that you're a billionaire. I care that you're the woman who chose me when you could have chosen anyone, who saw potential in my work when banks wouldn't fund me, who forgave me for trying to pay you to be my fake fiancée. I love you, really love you, and I promise to spend the rest of my life proving you made the right choice. Chisholm's turn. 1 year ago, I was pretending to be poor to find real love. I found it in a man who offered me money because he genuinely wanted to help. You didn't love me for my wealth because you didn't know I had it. And when you found out, you loved me anyway, not despite my money, but despite my lies. You're the man who saw me when I was invisible, who treated me with respect before you knew my net worth, who built something beautiful with your own hands and let me be part of it. I love you, not because you need me or my money, but because you see me, the woman behind the billions. And that's the greatest gift anyone has ever given me. I promise to always see you too, the brilliant architect, the loyal son, the man with vision and heart. That's what I'm marrying. That's what I love. The officiant pronounced them married. Mike kissed her like he'd been waiting his whole life for this moment. The reception was exactly what they planned together. Elegant but warm, expensive but welcoming. The kind of party that celebrated them, not their wealth. During dinner, Chief Adeyemi stood to give a toast. 1 year ago, my son brought a woman to Christmas and claimed she was his fiancée. It was a lie, but it was also the beginning of the most honest relationship I've ever witnessed. Mike and Chisholm taught me something important. The best partnerships aren't built on what you have. They're built on who you are. Mike doesn't have billions, but he has integrity, creativity, and vision. Chisholm has billions, but what she values most is authenticity, partnership, and love. To Mike and Chisholm, may your marriage be as real as your character. Everyone raised glasses. Later, Chisholm's business partner pulled her aside. I have your wedding gift. She handed Chisholm a folder. What's this? The paperwork for the merger. Okafor Industries and Adeyemi Designs are now officially one company, Okafor Adeyemi Group. 50-50 ownership. You and Mike are equal partners. Chisholm stared. But Mike's firm is worth $8 million. Mine is worth $45 billion. That's not equal. It is when you value vision as much as capital. Mike's designs are going to revolutionize our real estate division. Your capital will scale his vision globally. You're equal partners. Act like it. Chisholm found Mike talking with guests, pulled him aside, showed him the papers. What is this? He asked. A wedding gift. We're merging our companies. 50-50 partnership. Chisholm, the math doesn't. The math is perfect. You bring vision and design. I bring capital and infrastructure. Together we're unstoppable. Equal partners in business and life. Mike looked at the papers, then at his wife. You're serious. Completely serious. Sign it. This is insane. So is offer me 100,000 naira to be your fake fiancé. He laughed. Fair point. He signed the papers. Partners. Partners. They kissed to seal the deal. As the evening wound down, they snuck away to a quiet corner, the same bench where they'd made their original deal 1 year ago. Can you believe it's been a year? Chisholm asked, Can you believe we actually got married? I knew we would. You did not. Okay, I hope we would. Is that better? Mike pulled her close. You know what's crazy? If that jerk hadn't humiliated you at the restaurant, we never would have met. If your stepbrother wasn't greedy, you never would have needed a fake fiancée. If you weren't a billionaire pretending to be poor, if you weren't a good man who saw someone hurting, we wouldn't be here. They finished together. Best transaction of my life. Mike said. Best lie ever told. Chisholm agreed. 5 years later, they stood in the headquarters of Okafor Adeyemi Group, the largest architecture and tech development company in West Africa. 2 children ran around the office, 4-year-old Chidera and 2-year-old Alimide. Mike's designs were being built in 15 countries. Chisholm's business acumen had scaled their operations globally. Together, they created something neither could have built alone. Every Christmas, they visited that restaurant where they first met, left a huge tip for the waitstaff, usually about 100,000 naira. Why do we do this? The new waitress asked the first time. Because 5 years ago, a man offered his wife money in front of this restaurant, and it changed both their lives, Mike explained. Was she poor? The waitress asked. Mike and Chisholm looked at each other and laughed. No, Chisholm said. But he didn't know that, and that's what made all the difference. As they walked back to their car, children in tow, Mike said, I never actually paid you the second 50,000 naira. I know. You owe me. How about I pay you back with 50 more years of marriage instead? Interest compounds, 50 years might not be enough. Then I'll give you forever. Deal. She kissed him. There on the street, children giggling, Christmas lights sparkling around them. Once upon a time, a billionaire pretended to be poor to find real love. Once upon a time, a struggling man offered money to a woman who didn't need it. Once upon a time, a transaction became a partnership. A lie became truth. Pretend became real. And 2 people who should never have worked somehow built an empire together. Not because of what they had, but because of who they were. The end. If this story inspired you, moved you, or made you believe in second chances and honest love, smash that like button. Share with anyone who needs to know their worth isn't measured in money. Subscribe to African Tales by Zion with notifications on for more stories, where fake becomes real, lies become truth, and love conquers everything. Remember, your worth isn't determined by your bank account. It's determined by your character. And somewhere, someone sees you, really sees you, and that's worth more than all the billions in the world. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from African Tales by Zion. May you find love that sees your heart, not your wallet.